Mics are open.
Check, check. Final check, 1, 2. Pull me back just a tiny bit, Gary. Check, 1, 2. Check, check, check. Here we go. Good evening, and welcome to the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Tonight we are live from Studio Vanguard, and we are linked in with the following repeaters.
Tonight we are live on Flagship, Toccoa, Lula, McDonough, Noonan, Rome, Jersey, Columbus, Watkinsville, Zebulon, Peachtree, Dallas, Ocala, Mount Roosevelt, Lookout Mountain, Ottawa, White Oak Mountain, Chattanooga, Cades Cove, and Georgetown.
And across all those repeaters, our RF coverage encompasses approximately 41,000 square miles. This net takes place every Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. I would like to thank everyone who made the North Georgia GMRS the most expansive and active GMRS network in the country. Your net control tonight is WRWM 344, Blue Ridge 63. My name is Mike.
WQIR 514, Atlanta 947. My name is Julie.
WSAL 368, Atlanta 263. I'm Rogers.
And WRUB 711, Atlanta 519. My name is Gary.
And well, we'll come back to him. On the net, you can talk about your day's activities, radio equipment, or anything else you think we'd like to hear. This is a family-based network, so we encourage you to get your family involved. Guest check-ins are welcome from anyone with a valid FCC call sign. Once the floor is open, it is permissible to address other members of the net by name or tactical unit number. Your FCC call sign is only required when you sign in and sign out of the net. Also, you can tune into our YouTube channel and follow along, or even better, tune in after the net to watch your appearance on the network and hear how you sound to us right here in Studio Vanguard. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment so that we know you're watching. Those interactions mean the most to help our new channel grow. Tonight's topic is Winter Field Day for amateur radio enthusiasts. But before we get to that, let's kick it over to Atlanta 947 Julie for Julie's tips.
Thank you for that, Mike. This is WQIR 514. My name is Julie, and I'm at Atlanta 947 with this week's new user tips and operating procedure segment. This week, we're going to talk about Winter Field Day, and everything that I'm going to discuss is found directly on the WFD Association website. Winter Field Day is an exciting annual event for amateur radio enthusiasts, taking place on the last full weekend of January. It offers a unique opportunity for radio operators to set up field operations in remote locations, enabling them to connect with other participants worldwide. You may choose to participate solo or get your friends, family, or whole club involved. Winter Field Day is organized by the Winter Field Day Association. The association strongly believes that ham radio operators should practice portable emergency communications in winter environments. This is because freezing temperatures, snow, ice, and other hazards pose unique operational concerns. The Winter Field Day event aims to help participants improve their preparedness for disasters, and enhance their operational abilities in adverse conditions. Amateur radio operators have the freedom to use frequencies on the HF, UHF, or VHF bands while employing voice, CW, and digital transmissions. The event designates specific objectives to encourage a diverse range of activities, including the use of non-commercial power sources, the deployment of multiple antennas, establishing satellite contacts, and more. Winter Field Day began in 2006 and was sponsored by SPAR, the Society for the Preservation of Amateur Radio. Later, in 2015, the reins were handed over to the Winter Field Day Association. The WFDA is responsible for promoting the event as well as overseeing the rules and managing the event. For many who've participated in Winter Field Day, it is no longer just an event, but an annual tradition. In 2022, the WFDA processed over 2,500 logs from stations around the world. Stations logs are submitted for scoring. Stations logging contacts get points for each contact, and depending on the contest rules can get multipliers for contacts that meet certain criteria, which brings a competitive effort to the event. Winter Field Day is intended to encourage operators to be able to deploy and activate a station in the event of natural disasters that rarely happen in fair weather, and encourage preparedness. This is the key to being able to operate at the highest levels in the worst scenarios. Let me break. We here at North Georgia GMRS highly encourage our members with an amateur license to participate in Winter Field Day. It's a lot of fun and great practice. These are just a few of the preferred practices of North Georgia GMRS members, and these procedures are how we become the best operators on the nation's largest, most advanced linked repeater network. And remember, if you have any questions or suggestions for new user tips and operating procedures, send me a note at julie@nggmrs.org. We are North Georgia GMRS Network, and this is Atlanta 947 WQIR 514. My name is Julie. Back to Mike.
All right. Thank you very much, Julie. Appreciate that. Winter Field Day is always something to get excited about. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to our weekly announcements. Before that, let me quickly break. All right, going through our announcements. The Northeast Bunch, we'll start with you. They're having their lunch meetup at Rooster's Cafe in Dahlonega, Wednesday, January 29th at 11 a.m. They are back on the last Wednesday of every month routine. All members are welcome, and if you need more info, contact Bobby, Atlanta 403, or Joe, Gainesville 44. The Peachtree Corners Brunch Bunch meets every third Saturday of the month at noon at JR's Log House Restaurant. The next gathering is this Saturday, January 18th, at 6601 Peachtree Industrial Boulevard in Peachtree Corners. Pamela and Ernest invite you to come and have a flying saucer-sized pancake or some delicious barbecue. You can reach out to Pamela, Atlanta 849, or Ernest, Atlanta 848. If you want to attend or have any questions, you can email Pamela at skygazerpamela849, SKYGAZERPAMELA 849@gmail.com. We'll run through some details about some other upcoming nets. We've got the Rabbit Hole coming this Sunday, January the 19th, this week. Early check-ins start at 7 p.m., and the net officially kicks off at 7:30, just like this one. The topic this week will be why food preservation is so important, and they'll talk about different ways to preserve your food. And if there's one thing I know, Dallas 2-1, Miss Lisa knows a thing or two about canning. Don't miss that one. With the new year, the Ladies Net is getting a makeover. It'll now be round table style with rolling check-ins. Don't worry about being too early or too late. Ladies, just join the first Monday of the month from 7:30 p.m. until around 8:30 p.m. The next net will be Monday, February 3rd, starting at 7:30, and the topic for the Ladies Net will be Valentine's Day. Tuesdays every week. Is it every week? Tuesdays on the northern region of our network feature the Skywarn Net, and this is a training net for Skywarn spotters and is available only in the Chattanooga region of the network. Wednesdays have a short ERC net at 8 p.m. This is a roll call net and is closed to North Georgia GMRS members. This net is for ERC members only. Please refrain from checking in unless you are an ERC member. Then there's also the Thursday night nets. Those knuckleheads will talk about anything and say nothing at all for hours at a time. You should tune in unless you have anything else to do, like separating 2 decks of cards or really anything else. Last but not least, the Friday Night Simplex Challenge. Every Friday night, starting at 8 p.m., they meet up on the Monument Repeater and go out to individual Simplex channels from there. Join Dana, Atlanta 250, and Jonathan, Gainesville 58, to test your radio's reach and find out who your Simplex neighbors are. Let me break. They've also let us know, this is a special announcement, that for amateur radio license holders beginning Friday, January 24th, that's not this Friday, but next, you'll be able to join the new Friday night at 9 2-meter Simplex Challenge on the N4KHQ repeater. That's on frequency 146.835, starting at 7:30 p.m. Jonathan, Gainesville 58, as well as Mark, Rome 12, will guide you in a directed net, testing VHF frequencies, and meet up on the N4KHQ repeater. They'll continue to practice the plan and hope that all amateur radio enthusiasts will join. The Chattanooga Amateur Radio Club continues to offer free classes and workshops on a variety of different topics. For those interested in obtaining their ham radio license, there are multiple licensing classes available. Check their website, w4am.net. That's whiskey4alphamike.net for new lists of classes and workshops. And then Ham Radio Winter Field Day, the topic for tonight, is Saturday and Sunday, January 25th and 26th. As you heard from Julie, it's a 24-hour radio event that has a challenge due to the winter conditions. Details are also on w4am.net. In previous updates of our announcements, we've talked about the GARS Tech Fest that was rescheduled due to weather. The new date is February 1st. It's a free annual event specifically geared towards amateur radio enthusiasts. It's a good opportunity to learn about the latest developments in amateur technology, share knowledge and experience, and network with other amateur operators. It's free. It's an excellent way to learn more about the hobby, make new contacts, and discover new ways to use amateur radio. Again, that new date is February 1st. Open to the public at 8:30 a.m. and lasts till about 3:15 p.m. If you're not currently an amateur radio licensed member, they are doing ham exams. That rhymes, ham exams, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And they'll have a drawing, I'm told, that takes place at 3:15 p.m.
I'm not very good at drawing.
I'm not either.
Are there particular pictures you're supposed to draw?
Radios.
Radios?
Radios.
All right.
Maybe with salads. Maybe radios
holding
and salads.
Salads. Very good.
Or salads holding radios. And last but not least, the 43rd Annual Dalton Ham Fest is coming up on February 22nd, a little over a month out. That'll run from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. There's a $5 entry fee, and that'll be held at the North Georgia Ag Fairgrounds, 500 Legion Drive in Dalton, Georgia.
Oh, yeah, and speaking of salads.
I'm told that you can get a salad.
You know, if you pass your amateur radio test at the Dalton Ham Fest, you can take the little ticket that they give you, your 605 form, up to the cashier. When you order your buffet, you get a free salad if you pass your test. So the testing is held at, I can't remember the name of the restaurant because it's changed names. It used to be the Western Sizzle.
Yeah.
But it's the same place with a different name. Still, it's great food, and it's a buffet. But if you do pass either of your, it can be an upgrade or it can be a technician's test. If you pass, you can get a free salad with the purchase of a buffet.
It doesn't get better than that. Let us break. Anything else?
I think that's it. Great job getting through all of those announcements. It seems like there's more and more each week, and
yeah, that list is getting long.
A lot of things going on in the GMRS world. By the way, this is WQIR 514, Atlanta 946. Now that I have a chair, my name is Justin. Yeah. So it's a full house in Studio Vanguard this evening. And once again, I'd like to welcome Atlanta 263 Rogers to the to the crew tonight. So Rogers is going to help out with some of the technical functions that happen in here. The more distance that we can keep between me and the video switchboard, the better the show will go. and I tell you, I've already noticed from looking over shoulders tonight that Rogers has stepped up the game considerably from when I sat in that chair last week. So great job.
Well, shout out to you, Justin. You always do great. So don't be too hard on yourself.
Well, there's always room for improvement, and usually that happens when we get somebody else in here.
You know, that reminds me, I need to jump over into the YouTube chat now that we are live.
All right, so I'm going to stall for just a moment while Mike does that. That's one of the things that there are just so many moving pieces to the nets these days, and it's real easy to get lost in what we're doing here. So with all of the various moving pieces, it's a challenge sometimes to put this program together, but we have fun doing it, and looking forward to seeing these challenges get met and the program grow as we go. Where are we at, Mike? Is it time for additional check-ins?
We do need to take some check-ins. So if you're listening on YouTube and you've checked in, I'll get to you, get you in the log, but bear with me. Let's go ahead and take some more check-ins.
Yeah, well, there were a couple of check-ins that happened after we'd signed out. I don't know if we got them in a log or not. It's challenging because that break that we take is our technical break, and that's the time that we spend getting things ready to fire up the live stream. And many may have noticed that our live stream started a moment late tonight. We had a little bit of a glitch, and so Gary and I were over there scrambling to sort all that out, and we got it. We're good now, and but we do need that time to get things ready to fire off the live stream. So we won't really be able to take check-ins during the break, just as info. So with that in mind, we're going to continue with check-ins, Zello check-ins only. Anyone wishing to check in to tonight's net yet, please call using your voice over IP app known as Zello. Zello check-ins only, please.
This is Atlanta 342 WRZA 947 checking in and out.
This is Tacoma 58 WSFM 801 checking in.
To WRZG 694 Atlanta 785, Rick and Marietta.
I got Rick earlier. I think he was Zello earlier.
This is Atlanta 557 WRQ G806. Ed in Kennesaw. Check me in and out, please.
This would take it live, but it's in there right now, and I don't see it taking. So I was looking to see if it's here. Keys off. Set media cleared it, and then I should be able to go back to looks like it's keyed on media player. Is there a program right now? Do you want to cut to the log? Just trying to. Oh, I've broken something. Okay. Cut to the log. Did you hit that again? Clear it. Try it. All right. I keep it going. Log. let you cut to anything.
I'm going to keep things going, okay?
Yes, please.
All right, I think that's a long enough and awkward enough pause for Zello users. Net Control will acknowledge the following check-ins from Zello, and I've got, I think I'm caught up on YouTube anyway. So we had WRWB802, Larry from Colorado on YouTube. We had WRYQ727, Miko, a guest from upstate New York, also on YouTube. We heard Atlanta 342, David in Cumming is in and out. We had Toccoa 58, Aiden in Demarest was in tonight. And then we heard Atlanta 557, Ed in Kennesaw was in and out on Zello. Had a handful of YouTube check-ins here. We'll go ahead and acknowledge those. Rome12, Mark in Rome. Thanks for hanging out, Mark. Columbus 25, Peter in West Point, also tuning in on YouTube. Dallas 592, Michael in Dallas on YouTube. Atlanta 766, joining online as well. Atlanta 305, James from Atlanta. And then Atlanta 255, Jennifer in Dawsonville, also tuning in on YouTube. With that, we'll open it up for check-ins from most other repeaters. Let's go with all repeaters other than Flagship. So Flagship users, please hold your check-in. We'll go for all other repeaters. Net Control standing by.
This is WRKK629, Chattanooga 84. Jim in Hickson, Tennessee, checking in.
Nice. Gotcha, Jim.
And we could have our own little sort of contest.
Well, it's kind of like what the Friday Night Simplex is every Friday, right?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the goal there is to make as many contacts as you can, and to be able to practice operating in ways that allow you to make those contacts. So if you can't get those contacts from your shack or from your driveway or from whatever, then maybe you'll jump in the car and you'll run up to the supermarket and operate from that parking lot, or the hardware store, or the church, or whatever it might be, a park. Maybe you'll drive up to Flagship and operate from the grounds there at Flagship to see how many contacts you can make in Simplex, competing with that giant repeater right behind you. Actually, there's, 4 repeaters?
There's at least 4.
In there, yeah. So, nonetheless, that is something that you could do. Probably, if you're going to operate from the summit, you might have better success with some distance from Flagship, like maybe at the fire station or even down the road just a little ways, just so you don't get beat up by the repeater on a nearby frequency. But yeah, I think that would be definitely a worthwhile exercise for Winter Field Day on the GMRS side of things. Somebody's got the key down. There we go.
Yep, that's me.
All right. I'm going to let you keep driving. So
well, we were diagnosing some audio issues. I think we've got all that figured out though now.
All right. Okay. Gary, are we good?
We're good, yes.
All right. Captain says we're good.
All right. Well, we'll go to the top of the log and start running through our check-ins. Love to hear from you about if you have plans for Field Day, if you've participated before, or any of that. So at the top of the log, we've got Atlanta 256, our friend Chuck in Dawsonville. Chuck, what do you know about Winter Field Day, and do you plan to participate this year?
Maybe we should call out for Holly.
She's listening, no doubt. Chuck's probably doing dishes or something.
What about Atlanta 251? Holly, do you have any Holly? Holly, do you have any Winter Field Day plans? Atlanta 256.1. How about it, Holly?
All right. Well, no Atlanta 256 or 256.1.
Did Decimal Want chew on the microphone cord? Is that the trouble we have here?
She's usually pretty good about that.
I
She's
would
usually on the
think.
couch. But
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move along in the log. Our next check-ins from Atlanta 250. Dana in Dahlonega, high atop Mount Olympus. Dana can hear. Huge ears on that mountain, so he's got to be able to hear far and wide.
He's probably going to do winter field day from the comforts of his recliner.
Yeah. Dana, what do you know?
Well, first of all, Mike, it's good to have you back, and good evening to you and Justin and Rogers and Gary. Got a complete gang there tonight. I can't contribute a whole lot of previous experience to Winterfield Day, but I will tell you my version is stepping out from my radio room onto the balcony that's in that same room, and maybe with a long enough pigtail I could communicate that way. But let me break. But really, I wouldn't mind attending if folks are, going to gather somewhere to do it, and I think it would be a pretty good learning experience for myself. So, and belated happy birthday to you, Mr. Beauchamp. So, yeah, you do get wiser. Anyway, back to y'all.
If you had a hen for every year old you are, how many hens would you have?
I'd have more than 30 and fewer than 40.
Ah, all right. So he's in the middle of his 30s. Very good, very good. Well,
appreciate that, Dana. Thank you, though.
That's good stuff. And Dana raises a valid question, and that is, how do you get engaged in field day? And so if you're interested in participating in field day beyond what you might do in GMRS, all of the area amateur radio clubs are likely to have some kind of a field day program that they're planning on engaging in. So I would encourage anyone and everyone to find their local amateur radio club and do a Google search, or you could go on the ARRL website and search for amateur radio clubs with your zip code. Either way, find a local to you amateur radio club and just check out their website and see if they have anything listed for amateur field for winter field day. And a lot of these amateur radio clubs are deploying winter field day. Typically, they'll set up in a park, but the idea is to set up someplace with some visibility. And the purpose of the visibility is that want to draw attention to themselves and engage the public so that people will say, hey, what are these guys doing over here? What's all the wires and antennas all about? Come over and start asking questions. Hey, we're glad you asked. Come on over. This is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it, and would you like to participate? You can get on the air, even if you don't have an amateur license. If you have a qualified control operator running the station, you can still get on the air and participate in Winter Field Day that way. The club gains points by having public members participate, so they would definitely encourage you to come and ask questions and get on the air. And it's a great opportunity to experience radio beyond the limitations of GMRS, and definitely encourage that. They're going to be performing mostly in phone, which is spoken voice, but there may be some CW operators, which is Morse code, and that's fascinating to listen to and to watch. And Julie has watched some of that. Hey, let's break real quick. Julie has watched some of that CW in action and has become fascinated by it to the point where she has a practice key and she has some study material for CW, but that's kind of all fallen to the side of all the other things we have going on in life. But lots of opportunities to learn more about radio, and that's really what it's all about. GMRS radio is a great entry into two-way radio, but there's so much more when we just go a little bit further into amateur radio, and definitely we've always encouraged folks to do that. So, yeah, find your local ham club, and you may also find a whole new group of friends and other ways to spend money.
That's a good point. It's a good point. So many different operating modes, so little time. Thanks, Dana. Did you have anything else for us tonight?
sir. I wish I did, but like I said, and I am going to look into see locally here, local to me, if there's anybody getting together with any of the different clubs. So, like I said, it would be a good learning experience, and as Justin always says, natural progression. For myself, I got the antennas, all the radios, and everything else, just waiting on that license. So, back to you.
All right. Well, thanks a bunch, Dana. Maybe this will be the year that Atlanta 250 gets that license.
Does he know about the opportunities for an amateur radio license and a free salad?
I think he does.
Yeah.
I think he does.
Well, I would encourage that. And of course, the Tech Fest is also a great opportunity. What's cool is the Tech Fest is in about 2-ish weeks, a little over 2 weeks, and that's really the right amount of time. If you can spend 15 to 30 minutes a day with hamstudy.org on your phone, you'll be ready in time for Tech Fest to take your test. And entrance to Tech Fest is
free.
That's the right price. I don't know that the testing is free. The testing will be no more than $15.
Yeah, that's right.
If they charge for testing, it'll be at most $15, probably less. So this is perfect timing. And Dana, if you can spend, Dana or anyone else, if you can spend 15 to 30 minutes a day on hamstudy.org on your phone, it's a free app, which is also the right price. You can be ready for taking that test on the at the Tech Fest. And if for some reason you have a disappointing experience at the Tech Fest, you can turn right around on February 22nd, which is 3 weeks after, and you can test again.
That's right, the Dalton Ham Fest.
Yeah, the free salad place.
The free salad ham fest. All right, thanks, Data. We're going to go ahead and move on in the log to Atlanta 403. Bobby over at the Vortex. Bobby, are you participating in Field Day today, or do you have anything else that you want to add? Did I say Field Day today?
Yeah, you did.
Terrible.
That's all right.
Well, happy birthday, Mr. Mike. And, yeah, if they have one here locally over in Cleveland at the Gateway Amateur Radio Club, I may stop by. I stopped by the one for Summerfield Day, and it was hot. So, but, yeah, I don't do too much with my amateur stuff yet, even though I'm an extra, but, yeah, I haven't done much with it, but, yeah, if they have one here locally, I may stop by and do it. I know they do it in the Freedom Park here in downtown Cleveland almost every winter. They may have moved to one of the brewery locations. They set up all the locations up there, the antennas and stuff up there. So I'll have to check into it. Yeah, I forgot all about it until you guys mentioned it tonight. So we'll see. Maybe I'll go to it. I don't know. Back to you.
All right. Well, Bobby, yeah, and setting up at the park or at the brewery both satisfy that expectation that folks would, it would be a public place that would be exposed to, to be able to draw attraction to what you're doing. Hey, what are you guys doing with all these radios? What's all the antennas about? And just get the general public to come by and ask questions and hopefully get involved. And that's what they'll do. So, like I say, for anybody who has even a passing interest in amateur radio, this is a great chance to get on the amateur bands and get out there. You don't necessarily have to be licensed to be able to participate in Winter Field Day or the Summer Field Day for that matter. It's the same thing. It's all about encouraging people to operate and get on the air. So definitely, if you have a minute, stop by. They'll be operating. I didn't look at the rules this year, but I think the way that it works is Saturday morning is kind of a setup time. Then the actual operation starts at something like 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. And the idea is to operate for 24 consecutive hours. So folks will rotate, and some folks will come in through the nighttime hours. The station needs to be manned for the entire 24-hour duration. And at the conclusion of the 24 hours, you enter all of your logs in the on the contest web form, and you wait and see what the results are. So anytime on Saturday afternoon or Sunday morning or early, right after lunch, you can go and participate in Winter Field Day. And of course, they'll be breaking down in the mid-afternoon so that they can all pack up and put their toys away and go home. So, yeah, definitely check that out. So where are we at, Mike? Looks like McDonough 21 Alfred in Stockbridge is next. Alfred, do you have any Winter Field Day plans? Do you know anything about it? Do you have any idea where you might go to participate?
Well, I am in the process of planning and learning some of the technical aspects of Field Day, Winter Field Day, after this past storm that we had. And I'm mainly looking right now at getting better with my walkie-talkies and being able to hook them up to my main antenna and then outside too, and looking at getting some of my old wheelchair batteries and use that as a backup or field day power supply. So right now I'm mainly learning and all the technical stuff to get all that done. And but it should be fun to do. And I also look forward to if we have the GMRS field days. I think that would be something cool to
A GMRS field day would be cool. We keep talking about, or we heard about that.
Yeah, and I guess if we were perhaps maybe a little better prepared, we could have developed a set of contest rules. We did host a GMRS contest on the net a couple of years ago. We haven't done it since, mostly because I think our first effort at it was pretty disastrous. I think Atlanta 14002 won. He wins everything we do. And because he was the winner, we made sure that the prize was a particularly crappy radio.
Was it a potato?
No, it was not a potato. It was a what was that?
Oh, you said it was a radio.
It was a radio. It was something very, very low end. But it looks like there's a Henry County Amateur Radio Society that might be able to help the folks out in the Stockbridge area with amateur radio stuff. So if you just Google that, Henry County Amateur Radio Society, I think you'll be able to learn more about where they're going to set up and what operations they're going to have, if any.
I wonder if that's the one that Tim, McDonough 22, regularly participates with.
It may very well be, and maybe some of these McDonough folks that are in tonight can fill us in on what their local amateur radio club is planning to do. Tim was in and out, though, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was in and out.
Did we go by him already?
We did.
All right. Let's see if Tim is... Well, before we do that, let's go back to Alfred and see if he has any other questions. Alfred, one more time back to you. Do you have any other questions or comments about Winter Field Day?
No more questions right now. As y'all know from some other transmissions, I am a weather nerd, so middle of next week coming up, just be on the lookout.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Round 2 may be on its way, and we'll be on the lookout. And if we get weather, well, that's something to keep in mind. If we get severe weather, and it makes travel questionable or even a little bit dangerous, then net on the following Thursday may or may not happen. So I'm certainly not going to ask the staff to come in if there's any sort of a questionable weather event. And so I may come out here and just play around on the radio, but it wouldn't be like having the regular net that we have because I couldn't juggle all these balls. But let's see if we've got McDonough 22. Tim is available, and if he knows anything about their area ham club having a winter field day event. McDonough 22, are you there?
Yes, sir. I am here, and the website for Henry County is just henrycountyars.org, and we will be having our next club meeting on the 4th Thursday of this month. Keep in mind there are 5 Thursdays in January here, so our next meeting will be on the 4th Thursday of this month at 7 p.m. At the Henry County Emergency Operations Center, which is like one driveway beyond where the Henry County Jail and the government complex is down there. I can never remember the name of the street down there. That's where OB's Barbecue used to be. He could also contact by email Bruce Holmes, which is our club president, also a member of North Georgia GMRS. He's McDonough 39. And he can be reached at wrnx338@gmail.com.
Good stuff. Tim, do you know if the Henry County Amateur Radio Society is going to be having a winter field day event, and do you know where that might be?
To my knowledge, no. We have had a field day earlier this year, a couple months ago back. They had a field day here in Stockbridge up by the amphitheater, I think it was. I did not make that event. I knew it would be too tiring for me to be out there all day long with my mobility issues. And we also had a special event and kind of a barbecue cookout on the Veterans Day down in McDonough at the Veterans Memorial down in McDonough. So, but Bruce could certainly answer that question. I cannot give you a certain answer to that.
All right, very good. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I know that you were in and out, but thanks for coming on and answering, or at least trying to answer a couple of questions. One thing to clarify, even though this is a 24-hour event, there's no expectation or obligation that anybody spends 24 hours. You can go for half an hour. You can go for 10 minutes. You can go for 2 or 3 hours. Probably what will happen is I'm going to stop in and show my face and shake a hand and say hello, and I'm going to be out of there in 10 minutes, and then you're there for 2 or 3 hours. But you'd mentioned not having the stamina to be there all day. I don't think I would either. I've done a couple of field days now, and my future field day roles will be more of a participant than an organizer.
Will you get on and do a few key ups?
Yeah, just
make a few calls.
Just a couple of calls, just a visit and show of support. But I just don't have the attention span or the patience or the ability to spend an overnight doing that kind of an activity anymore. But in any case, don't feel like you can't go because it's an all-day deal. You can make an appearance and then bug out. But thanks again, Tim, for that. With that, let's continue on. We have Atlanta 1158. Is it Nick or Nicholas? All right, no answer from Atlanta 1158. Nick and Jasper, we're going to go ahead and show him as in and out and continue right along. Next, we have Noonan 120 Carmine in Fayetteville. Carmine, do you have any questions or comments? You plan on participating in Winter Field Day. I know Coweta County Amateur Radio Club has done summer field days in the past. I don't know what their Winter Field Day activities are. Have you checked that out? They don't want to talk to me.
I didn't get his in and out, whether he was in or out, to be fair. Him and the next two.
Okay. Well, let me see if Rogers can take the disappointment if nobody answers. Go ahead and call on the next one.
All right, that brings us down to.
Hold on, we're not on the air.
So that brings us down to Matt in Ackworth. We didn't get if you were in and out, but are you in? And do you have anything to say about tonight's topic?
Okay, just come back and say no response. We'll go ahead and mark you as in and out and go right to the next one.
All right, Matt, no response.
Hold on.
Go ahead. All right, Matt, we'll mark you as in and out. No response there. Which brings us to Kai, WSAI 254. Are you in with us tonight, Kai? Do you have anything to say?
He was the other one we didn't. That didn't. Well, I think that was that triple, wasn't it?
Might have been, yeah.
Double and a half or almost triple. So he may have been in and out.
Okay. This normally happens after 9. Oh. We call on people and they're not there. But it's only 8:30.
It's still early.
All right. Why don't you go see if you can get Aiden to come back?
All right. We will mark you, Kai, as in and out. Aiden, Toccoa 58, are you in with us tonight? Are you still there?
Yes, sir. I am in, and I'm with you guys.
All right. What do you have to say about tonight's topic?
Well, not so local. It's the Lanierland Amateur Radio Club. They're participating in Winter Field Day, and I'm gonna see about joining them. I'm newly licensed. I've been licensed for about a month, a little more than a month, and so this will be interesting for me. Hopefully I'll be able to, if I'm not busy that weekend.
Well, Aiden, I would encourage you to definitely go and spend some time with those guys for Winterfield Day. If you're newly licensed, that's perfect because it gives you a chance to learn about radio from experienced amateur radio operators, and it's one of those situations you put yourself in. You may just get bitten by the contest bug. You may get bitten by the amateur radio. Really want to get deeply involved in this. Back when Julie and I first began our adventure in amateur radio, we were invited to a contest. It was called Islands on the Air, and we traveled down to Dauphin Island, Alabama, to help operate a temporary radio station. The station was put together at a vacation home in Dauphin Island. We had a temporary tower. We had a very large beam style HF antenna and an excellent station. And Julie had so much fun operating that amateur radio station and making contacts all around the world, making contacts in Russia, in Japan, in Asia, in South America, all over. She made, in 6 hours, she made 111 contacts in 47 different countries.
Oh, wow.
And, it was supposed to be a 2-hour shift. We couldn't get her out of the chair. So, the bug was, she had been bitten, and she loved participating. She loved the camaraderie, the social aspect of it. It was a lot of fun to participate in that. So that may be your experience with Winterfield Day. Maybe not, because it's going to be chilly. But there's a social aspect to it, but there's also the opportunity to learn things. And when you can get on the air and you can make distant contacts, it's just fascinating to be able to talk to somebody in Russia, to be able to talk to somebody in Ukraine, to be able to talk to somebody in South Korea, to be able to talk to somebody in Japan. Japan's a hard contact to make, but these folks will come to their radios when there's contests going on, because that's also their opportunity to make contacts. So it's a great opportunity. It's when the bands are most active, and you just learn so much about radio. There was one time I was trying to call, and so in amateur radio, you throw out your call sign and you wait for someone to repeat your call sign to acknowledge that they heard you and they want to exchange that. So I put out my call sign, and about a second and a half or 2 seconds later, I heard my call sign come back. And so I tried to engage that person, but when the second time when I keyed up and transmitted, what came back was the exact same thing that I said.
I know what happened here.
And so it was my own voice, it was my own signal that was coming back to me. Now, whether it was going all the way around the earth or I don't know, because the timing was probably too fast for that, but that signal was bouncing or coming back in some way, and it confused me. But it was a fascinating thing to experience. But cool stuff. Lots of opportunities to learn amazing things in any sort of a contest. And I definitely encourage anyone to participate in that. So, Aiden, did you have any other comments or questions for tonight? All right, not hearing any response from Aiden. We'll continue on. And I just, once again, Aiden, I would encourage you to definitely participate if you're able to. Let's check in with Chattanooga 84 Jim in Hickson. And Jim, does the Chattanooga area have any plans for winter field day deployments? I would imagine there's probably 2 or 3 events going on up in that area. Chattanooga 84, Jim in Hickson. Are you with us? All right, not hearing anything from Jim. We're going to continue on. Next, we have Atlanta 1126, Joseph in Snellville. Joseph, do you have any plans for winter field day?
Well, my plans for winter field day are to stay warm. I've recently received my amateur ticket, so I am quite involved in trying to learn how to use all my equipment. I have equipment in the box that I haven't taken out of yet. Back in my involvement in amateur radio back in the 50s and 60s was a little bit different. You bought a Hallicrafters, a Collins, or a Heathkit, and you had a receiver and a transmitter. You put them together, and you were there. However, there's so much technology involved these days that it's quite a challenge. I know that I'm very fortunate. My IT background is helping me out with using a computer to program all these devices. I really feel for those who don't have a real strong grasp of computing, because it would really be a challenge to do that otherwise. However, as far as the field day, I'd love to be involved in that kind of stuff, and going forward, I'd like to, be a part of that as well. Probably right now more as an observer than as a participant, but hopefully I can get involved in that as well. Back to you.
Well, that's the beauty of events like this, is you can go with every intention of being an observer and observer? Whatever I just said. Yeah, who knows? We need a translator in here. You can go with every intention of being an observer, but the reality is that this is an outreach, and this is something that, they're going to encourage you to sit down and operate the radio for a short time. There will be a control operator there with you, but nonetheless, that's part of the fun, and they want you to have fun. And but if you're mic shy and you just don't want to be on the air, that's okay too. Just show up. It's like I say, it's an outreach thing. So their purpose is to engage you and just answer whatever questions you might have. And it's meant to be an opportunity for people who are novice or less to kind of come and see and explore and learn. So definitely would encourage you to visit your whatever local amateur radio club is near you. Let's see. Do we have? It looks like probably the Lanierland Club is going to be.
I think
is going to be the closest one to Snellville. So, but you can go onto the ARRL website, and you can search for amateur radio clubs. You can search by your city name or by a zip code, and it'll show you which clubs are within a range of you. And I think you can even select whether that's 25 miles or 100 miles or whatever that might be. I don't want to go 100 miles to find an amateur radio club, but I'm sure there's something in proximity to most of us. So encourage you to definitely go explore that. Let's see. Do you have any other comments or questions?
I'm currently a member of the Gwinnett Amateur Radio Society, and I'm thinking about attending the Stone Mountain Amateur Radio Group as well. So there's several around here that, avail myself of those. Really have met some great people at GARS. Just spent the afternoon with one of them, helping me with some of my programming issues. So, yeah, I echo exactly what you're saying. Getting involved with the groups is very fortunate. We're fortunate that we're in as large a city as we are, where we can find a lot of people that are as interested in it as we are. Back to you.
Very true. And you mentioned GARS. GARS is the host of the Tech Fest coming up in February, and we'll definitely be there at the Tech Fest. So I would encourage North Georgia GMRS members to come on out, and we'll have a couple of tables there. We'd love to meet with you. We're going to bring Studio G. Studio G's been in the closet for a little while, so we're going to bring that back out. Studio G was the kind of exploratory platform, the test bed, and Vanguard is equipped with much the same equipment that Studio G pioneered. And it's the first of its kind. It's probably the only of its kind. It is a contest-winning portable amateur radio station.
That's an accolade.
It's not really. It's more geared towards what we do in nets, to have multiple operators, deploy in a portable fashion. When we set up and did the net from the Chattanooga Hamfest that first time, it was with Studio G that we operated that Hamfest, that net that Thursday night at the Hamfest. I believe we're going to be operating the net from the Chattanooga Hamfest this year as well. And we'll have Vanguard at Chattanooga when we go. So, yeah, GARS is a fantastic amateur radio club. They host the Stone Mountain Hamfest and the GARS Tech Fest coming up in just a couple of weeks. So we'll see you all at the Tech Fest. I hope that everyone shows up and they have trouble finding parking. All right, Joseph, thank you for that. With that, we're going to continue on. Next is Jonathan in Hickson, Chattanooga 3-0. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Good evening, Justin, Gary, Mike, Rogers. Good to see some new people getting on here. Yeah, I saw your trailer at the Chattanooga Hamfest 2 years ago. That was about 2 or 3 weeks after I joined the NGGMRS group. And, man, it's just impressive to see what that trailer has become with Vanguard over the last 2 years. That is a lot of work. That's just cool as can be. For Winter Field Day, since I originally checked into this net, I realized that I am going to be out of town, out of state for that, so I'm going to be missing the local Winter Field Day. But kind of as a related topic, last year you were having a net on the topic, about people were planning to get their amateur radio license, and back in my mind it's like, I'm never getting an amateur license. I got no need for one. I mean, what am I going to do? GMRS does everything I need. Break. And last fall, I volunteered with the Red Cross as a damage assessment specialist. So they will be sending me out to disaster areas to do damage assessments on people's houses so they can get Red Cross assistance. And in the process of that training, I found out that the Red Cross has radios, and they are licensed at somewhere in the 49 megahertz area, which puts it right at the bottom of 6 meters. And 6 meters would be covered under a technician license. So over the next coming weeks, with the Chattanooga Amateur Radio Club, we'll be holding technician license class, and sign me up to get in on that and try to make myself useful when I get out there and get deployed on some disaster area where there's no communications. Break. Sorry about that. Seems like we had a little interference there on another repeater. So yeah, I'll be seeing you guys on the ham side before too long. I probably won't have a base station. I'm just going to strictly go with mobile stuff and just get it all installed in my RV, because that's what I'd be taking out to, disaster responses. And then I'll have everything all right there. And I very much look forward to seeing you guys up here at the Chattanooga Ham Fest, whenever that is. Back to you, Net Control.
All right, excellent stuff, and yeah, I hear that so often that GMRS does everything that I need to do. I don't have any interest in pursuing an amateur license, and then something happens, an event occurs. GMRS is great, and one of the things that we have in GMRS that amateurs don't have, well, there's a couple of things that we have. One is we have the largest linked repeater network in the country. That includes amateur radio. I don't know of any linked repeater group anywhere in the country that has as many linked repeaters as we do, or that covers the raw area. We have a larger coverage footprint than most TV stations. So that's one thing that GMRS offers folks that live in this area. The other thing that GMRS offers that I think is a pretty big deal is it's an opportunity for you as an individual to hold a license, but you can share that license with your family. So in amateur radio, if you want to have your kids involved, they have to have their own license. In GMRS radio, if you want to have your family involved, if you want to have your brother involved, if you want to have your aunts or uncles involved, if you want to have your parents involved, if you want to have your children involved, they are all covered under your GMRS license. All you need to do is hand them a radio and give them a little bit of coaching as to how to use it. That's unique in two-way radio, and that's a powerful benefit that we enjoy, in that is a way that we can get our family involved. I can't tell you how many times I've heard I'd like to have my wife involved, but she won't take the test. Julie would never have taken the test if she hadn't been engaged in GMRS radio first. So, just that exposure interested her enough that, she's now a general. So, it's a great way to get people exposed to and interested in and advanced in their radio capabilities. And GMRS does a lot for us, but there's so very much more that we can do in amateur radio. So if you're satisfied where you're at, that's fantastic. Probably you won't be forever. At some point along the line, you're going to learn, you're going to experience, you're going to see the value of becoming an amateur, and you'll take that step. It doesn't mean you have to leave GMRS radio, because we certainly haven't. but it does open up a lot of opportunities and so many things that you can learn. And did you know that you can do amateur radio astronomy?
And how's that?
Well, you use satellite dishes, and instead of pointing them at Telstar or at whatever Netflix satellite might be up there, you point it away from the satellites, and you listen to the noise, and you're just searching for a signal in that noise. And so you'll hear things sometimes, and there are networks where people can point their satellites at a particular portion of space. They point their dish in a certain area, and with networked computers, you can collectively pull in signals that can be analyzed. And they have these very large radio telescopes, but in the amateur field, we can have a very, very, very large radio telescope when we couple all of our dishes together and connect them through the internet. And then we have the computers that kind of go through and do signal analysis to look for bits and bytes that might be floating around, coming from Voyager, coming from other sources. There's some really fascinating stuff that's happened in the field of amateur radio astronomy.
And I've seen reports and read articles where amateur radio operators will sometimes find an anomalous sound, and they'll send it to NASA or whoever to get analyzed. But it's pretty neat that we can see what's really out there too.
So, like I said, I mean, who would have thought radio astronomy? But if it can be done in radio, there are amateurs that are doing it. And in some cases, there are amateurs that are pioneering technology. Some of our digital communications, the signal processing that happens to pull weak signals out of digital comms, because let's face it, a machine can hear ones and zeros that sound just like noise and static to us. All right, so if you can have a machine do digital signal processing and pull out those ones and zeros, and some of that technology was really advanced and developed in the amateur field before it had any commercial applications. So, it's an opportunity to pioneer in a technological field. So, excellent stuff. Glad to have had the chance to chat. Jonathan, did you have anything else you wanted to discuss before we move on?
Justin, that was all I had to share. I appreciate the work you guys put in hosting this net every week. And back to
you. All right, very good. Well, Julie's not here, so this time we're going to do one round of late check-ins and any questions or comments from anyone. So you can if you've already checked in, this is a great chance for you to comment in to make a final comment before we close. And if you've not yet checked in and would like to, here's your chance. So Net Control standing by. Any questions or comments, any late check-ins, the floor is open. All you.
Atlanta 73, headed to Lawrenceville.
All right.
Comment Atlanta 849 after the check-ins.
This is WRXH279, Chattanooga 118, late check-in. Only comment I have is not only along with the hardware or the modern hardware to be able to decipher out these hidden signals, it's the mathematical algorithms that make these signals that give it the ability to do that. And that's a whole weird different level of math that I don't have nothing to understand about. Back to you.
This is WRZT 646 Atlanta 933, checking in and out with a quick comment. Great to hear my buddy Rogers out there.
All right, Rogers.
WR,
I didn't get
I heard
that.
WRWR.
Yeah.
check in. This is WRXV 696, Dallas 64. Josh in Dallas with a late check-in. Check me in and check me out. Thanks. This is WRVG 415, Atlanta 11, John and Ken. Please check me in and out.
WRVG 389,
Did you get that?
Mm-mm.
Is it Chat 61? Nope.
Something RQ65.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge what we have. There were several check-ins in this last round that we missed. There were a couple of doubles, and we didn't pull either station out of the double. And there were a couple of very, very low audio, weak signal stations that we weren't able to pull in. But let me go ahead and acknowledge what we have. And I think, do I need to go back and Rogers has already acknowledged some of these YouTube check-ins, hasn't he?
We're ready for this one right here that's flashing for you.
Okay. All right.
We have the rest, though.
All right. So let me go back. I'm going to acknowledge some of our YouTube check-ins and this last round of radio check-ins. If you checked in the last couple of minutes and I don't call your name, it's because you were doubled on and we didn't copy your check-in. But let me start here with Atlanta 420, William in Roswell. William is in and out tonight. Well, he's a YouTube check-in, so he's automatically in and out. All right, McDonough 61, Blake from Locust Grove, also YouTube. We have a guest check-in from WPYW 627, Scott. Guest check-in. We have another. Oh, this is Gainesville 58. Jonathan is a YouTube check-in tonight. Chattanooga 69, Ronnie in Las Vegas is a YouTube check-in tonight. And then for our last round of check-ins, we heard, and this guy's got the coolest call sign.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw your call sign out there, Ed, just because it's so cool. His GMRS call sign is KAF 9860. This is Atlanta 73. So Ed, glad to have you along tonight. We'll come back for your comments here in just a moment. And Stuart, Chattanooga 118. I'd love to pick your brain about any of the Winter Field Day events that are happening in your region. I'm betting there's a couple. So we'll be coming back to you here shortly. Atlanta 933, Dwayne in Canton said he was in and out. And I heard WRWR. And then I heard static and noise. And I'm not even sure it was WRWR.
I'm not either. That's what I thought I heard.
But that's as much as we have.
We might need some of that astronomy equipment to decode some
We
of
need
that.
something to decode that, that's for sure. So there again, if I don't call your name, it's because we didn't hear your check-in. You may have been doubled on or just buried in the hash. We also have Dallas 64. Josh in Dallas is in and out. In Atlanta 11, John in Canton, in and out. And we have a guest check-in from WSCJ 938, Diane, on YouTube. Those are the check-ins we have at this time. Oh, I got comments. That's what happened last week. Is Todd had a comment at the very end and we missed him. Looks like we've got Atlanta 849 Pamela with a comment. Hopefully, well, I've got better people to watch out for me. It was me watching out for me last week, and so that's what the disaster was. But I might call on Todd anyway, just because we missed him last week. Yeah, let's just do that.
Let's give him a shot.
Let's put him down there.
Let's hear about that radio he won.
Yeah, right. But let's go next to Atlanta 73, Ed in Lawrenceville. Ed, go ahead with your comments tonight.
Just a couple of observations. If you have not had the opportunity to go to one of these field outings, do so. If you don't know a thing about a radio, go learn. It's amazing what you will learn from what you'll see. And if you happen to be public safety and you are carrying radio equipment with you, it's amazing how much interest you will receive from them. It's a two-way learning curve. Go.
Very good, Ed. And yes, great words of advice. If you have any interest at all, you should definitely go. And not hard to find information about area Winter Field Day events. And if you go to the Winter Field Day website, is there any kind of a list of events there?
I
didn't think to even look there either. I was on their website plagiarizing their information about the winter. When I wrote my summary of events. Well, no, it was all plagiarized. If you look at a Winter Field Day website and you read those first two paragraphs, that is exactly what I wrote.
It looks like, so they've got a map. If you scroll down a good ways on the page, they've got a map that shows 750 registered. I think these are activations. Is that how you read this? Locations registered?
Yeah, that seems like, yeah. So those are likely locations that you can go to and engage in Winter Field Day. Zoom in one more round there. Looks like there's about 30 of them in the Atlanta area.
Yeah, there's a good number around Atlanta, around Chattanooga, some over in Alabama.
So if you just search Winter Field Day and just plug that into Google, it'll bring you to the Winter Field Day Association webpage. And there's lots of information about area events. There's a map you can zoom in on, and if you click on one of those icons on the map, it will give you a location. What does it give you? It gives you a call sign, and visitors are welcome. So, is there an opportunity for an address or anything like that?
I didn't see one. Let me try to get in on this one here. What if I click this?
Yeah, well, you may have to just reach out to the contact info there and then get more details. And of course, there'll be some information too about these about the call signs that are listed on the ARRL website. You can find out more information from there. So good stuff, Ed, and thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Did you have anything else before we let you go? Okay. All right. Thanks again, Ed. We're going to continue on. Next, we have Chattanooga 118. Stuart in Eastridge. Stuart, did you have any comments for the net tonight? And what's going on in your part of the world for Winter Field Day?
No comments for the net. As far as Winter Field Day goes, the Chattanooga Club is going to be holding their Winter Field Day at the Hamilton Community Center. So we're going to be inside where there's heat, and that's going to be a significant difference. But not everybody feels like we should all be inside, so there'll be at least one, possibly me, outside occasionally, just to experience the cold. Back to you, Nat.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to step outside. You got to step outside from time to time because they won't let you smoke indoors. But yeah, I like the idea. I guess I might need to check out Winter Field Day activities. Well, I can't. I've got other obligations that weekend. But I'll be up there at that visitor center this weekend, and the community center, and so maybe I'll see you there. All right. Well, Stuart, thanks for letting us know about that. Is there a contact if anybody had questions about Winter Field Day for the Chattanooga Amateur Radio Club?
I believe at this point, if you're a North Georgia person and you've got a question about it, I'm here. Talk to me.
All right. Very good. So, the community center is going to be the place, and that's a cool thing to be able to go where it's warm. Hopefully that will be an opportunity for community folks to come and learn about amateur radio as well. So thanks for that, Stuart. And anybody has any questions, about the event in the Chattanooga area, reach out to Chattanooga 118. Next, that'll bring us to our comment section. We have a couple of them here. We have Atlanta 849, Pamela in Duluth. Pamela, go ahead with your comments.
Okay, thank you so much tonight, gentlemen. Just wanted to let you know that earlier someone tried to get in. I was able to pick up and just saw something that helped me remember who it was. WSGR 470, who is Aaron Ducker in the Cleveland area. I don't think you caught him. I just want to let you know he did try to check in. Also, let me break. I wanted to go on and say that the winter days sound great. It's a little bit much for me, but maybe one of these days get to do that. Also, I wanted to go on and throw out my new email about the Peachtree Corners lunch bunch, and it is Sky, S-K-Y, Gazer, G-A-Z-E-R, Pamela, P-A-M-E-L-A, 849 at gmail.com in case anybody missed it, because I need to hear from Atlanta 73 Ed and Atlanta 1196 Philip. And I did have a comment from last week, if I can go ahead with that.
Yeah, Pamela, go ahead with your comment.
Okay, we were appreciating the police and all those that help, that go out of their way and help take care of their business. And I just want to say they love people like the firemen to come and bring them food. And out in Woodstock, my mom and I took a big old bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken and fixings and a cake to the guys out there, and they gave us a tour and showed us everything. And they were thrilled to get some goodies because they don't get everything too much. But I just want to remind people, please remember to stop by anytime and drop them something off, and they'll really appreciate that. And I will send that back to you as a good net. Also, I wanted you to put in something about the amateur radio astronomy that you were talking about, maybe a little information on that. I couldn't write fast enough to keep up with you about the telescope and everything you can see from that. Thanks. Appreciate it. Back to you.
Yeah, Pamela, I don't have any information about that other than Julie and I attended a forum at the Hampcation in Florida 2-3 years ago. And it was just fascinating I just never would have considered that there was an opportunity to do amateur radio astronomy. But Julie and I sat through a forum, and we learned a lot. If you've got the Dish Network style dish, that is not as good of equipment as the old 9-foot aluminum dishes with the more analog LNAs, and that equipment was really, really good for doing amateur astronomy. But you still can do, if you've got a Dish Network dish or what's the other one? If you've got those style of satellite dishes, you still can do some radio astronomy. But it's the older style with the analog LNA that really gives you the opportunity to have a wide field of frequencies that you can explore. So those LNAs can be substituted with different parts, and you can have just a tremendous range of frequencies that you can look at in amateur astronomy. So fascinating stuff. I don't really have any specific information. If you have an interest in amateur radio astronomy, I would imagine Google would be your friend. And lots of opportunities to learn stuff there. I don't know if there's anybody in the Atlanta region that does that, but I would be surprised if there weren't. So it may be part of Fulton County Amateur Radio Club, or who knows. But
somebody somewhere does.
Somebody somewhere probably does that and would have some information. And there's lots of nerdy radio people within our own group, and somebody probably has already explored some of that. So, all right, with that, let's see if Atlanta 1402 is on and if he has any comments for tonight's net. He got skipped last week, so I just want to give him an opportunity to bring last week's comments or this week's comments to the air. All right, nothing from Todd. Let me go back and acknowledge WSGR 470 was a relay check-in from Pamela. You know, and that does happen sometimes. That's why we say if I don't call your name, it's because we didn't hear you. If you checked in and you don't get acknowledged, it's because we didn't hear you. And it's not just me listening. There's 4 people in here that are listening for call signs and tactical unit numbers, and sometimes we just don't hear the call.
We try.
So if that happens, I really need for the folks out there to make the effort to come back again and try. But WSGR 470, Aaron in Cleveland, we've got you in the log tonight, and thank you for that relay, Pamela. With that, let's continue on. We've got next Chattanooga 84, Jim in Hickson. Jim, go ahead with your comments. Tonight we're talking about Winter Field Day.
Okay, thanks for coming back to me, Justin. We've got 4 ham clubs up here, and only 2 of them that I'm aware of do Winter Field Day. All of them do Summer Field Day. In the last several years, I've done it with the Chattanooga Amateur Radio Club, and I have committed to a different venue that some area hams have got set up on one of the mountains, and I'm going to go up there and play radio in not so great conditions, I'm assuming, but that's okay. That's the fun of it, and that's about all I know about this area. Back to you.
Yes, very good. Well, I tell you, the last time that I participated in Winter Field Day with the Chattanooga area folks was at Chester Frost Free Park, and I'm here to tell you it was not frost free.
There was some frost.
It was a pretty frosty event, and nonetheless, we had a good time. I would definitely consider doing it again, but I really, really like the idea of indoors. I'm not sure that satisfies fully the expectation of being an outreach, but maybe it does if it's at a community center. So I guess, the only way to know for sure is to do it and see how it plays, and then go from there. So, and that's part of the adventure. We're all learning new things and getting things a little bit better. Just like every time we sit down and push buttons in Studio Vanguard, we're trying to do it just a little bit better. And hopefully, maybe one day we'll be good at this. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that is the end of the roster. And I guess with that in mind, let me check with Jim and make sure we've got everything that he wanted to convey. Jim, did I miss anything?
I don't think so. Last year we operated. All the years I've done has been at Chester Frost Park, and last year we actually operated from the trailer itself, and we didn't set up outside because there weren't as many people attending. But we had a good time and made a decent amount of contacts. So there you go. WRKK 69, Chattanooga 84. I'll be clear after you.
All right, Jim. Well, thank you for that. All right. Well, we're at the part of the program where I'm going to say this concludes. Oh, wait. Where's my button to advance the thing here? I've lost my place. I always lose my place. All right. I found the button. This concludes the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Tonight we had a total of
71
chickens, including myself and the rest of Net Control. We will now be returning the repeaters back to normal use. Everyone who signed in should sign out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, comments on the YouTube videos show engagement with the video and help the channel to grow. Thank you for allowing us to serve as Net Control this evening. Good night, everyone. This is Atlanta 946, WQIR 514. My name is Justin.
And this is WRWM 344, Blue Ridge 63. My name is Mike.
And I am WSAL 368, Atlanta 263, Rogers.
And this is WRUB 711, Atlanta 519, Gary.
Good night, everyone. We are clear.